Good afternoon, and let's give a round of applause for our vocalist, Yuchen Lama, and our flautist, Nawang Kichang. Thank you very, very much. Hello and welcome to the University of California, Irvine. I'm Chancellor Michael Drake. It is my great privilege to welcome you here today for this afternoon's very special program. His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, is perhaps the world's most recognized spiritual leader, and certainly the leader of those of the Buddhist faith, but also a person who speaks to all of us around the world. All of us have been touched by his message of universal compassion and love, and all of us are challenged to achieve the depth and breadth of compassion that he teaches. I remember a stirring example from his book, Emotional Awareness, that I read several years ago, in which he describes meeting a monk who was a long-term friend of his who had been imprisoned for many years. And in their discussion, he asked him if he'd ever had any fear. And the monk said yes, that he had had moments of fear. And the fear that he had was that he was going to lose compassion for his captors. And that always amazed and inspired me. His Holiness was here 7 years ago, and his 2004 visit to UC Irvine sparked such enthusiasm that community members joined together to establish a scholarship in his name. And since that time, UC Irvine Dalai Lama scholars have embraced his message of compassion and kindness, and they have shared it throughout our university, throughout Orange County, and throughout the world. Each Dalai Lama scholar has had the opportunity to meet His Holiness either here in Orange County or has traveled to meet him in India. For 6 years, they've been the world's only Dalai Lama scholars, but their work has been so well received that this year, an international Dalai Lama Scholars Program will be launched, enabling students at other universities to spread this message into their communities as well. The Dalai Lama scholars are standing here to my left, and let me introduce them to you. The first scholar, 2006, Rajiv Ramdeo. In fact, why don't we, for time, why don't we save a rousing round of applause for all of them collectively, if we can do that. The first is Rajiv Ramdeo from 2006. From 2007, Rebecca Hendrickson. From 2008, two scholars, Ali Malik and Maureen Cohen. From 2009, 2010, Jasmine Fang. The 2010 and 11 scholars were Doug Chang and Bethel Mesgana. And just named this week, the 2011 scholar is Arman Rother. And now a round of applause. These students are shining examples of how our university inspires, empowers, and enables people to make a difference in the world. Two people to acknowledge in the audience today. We have Alexandra Cousteau, who is here visiting and will be lecturing tonight, and someone who has a tradition of inspiring people around the world. Another person who is here with us today who I'd like to introduce, who's been inspiring and empowering people to really help them make a difference, is Kelly Smith. Kelly is the founder of the Center for Living Peace and an incredible friend of the university. Kelly, will you please stand and be acknowledged? There's Kelly. Thanks to Kelly and the Living Peace series, actress and activist Charlize Theron and entrepreneur and philanthropist Richard Branson have come to UC Irvine in recent months to share their personal stories and to challenge us to help the most vulnerable people in the world. Today, His Holiness's lecture marks the capstone of the first year of this highly successful program. About the program today, following the remarks by His Holiness, he will answer questions that were submitted in advance by UC Irvine students and students working at the Center for Living Peace. Thank you to everyone who submitted those thought-provoking questions, and I look forward, as do we all, to hearing his insights and answers. And now I would like to ask the Ganden Shatse monks to join us on the stage. In the Tibetan tradition of Ninsi, they will sound horns to enhance and bring virtue to this special moment as we all join together in the privilege of welcoming His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, into our presence.
Thank you. Sit. Oh, that's good. 그래, 랍제지 말고, 중지지 말고, Chancellor. Chancellor, and I think there must be professors, some teachers, and some students. So actually, we all human brothers, sisters. So indeed, I'm very, very happy. Come here once more. I think fairly remember you in this, I think, hall. So, and also feel great honor, meet, talk in a university. So indeed, I'm very, very happy. My first visit, which year?
Was it 2000?
Which year?
What year was it? 2004.
2004. So then one difference is, looks, same face. It's the same body, of course, same person, but one important organ missing. That is gallbladder. I think 3 years ago. I just wait. I think almost 15 years with hope. Tibetan medicine can melt it, these stones. So wait. After 15 years, hopeless. So then I went through surgery. So remove. So today, this person's body, one important organ, not there. So just out of my curiosity, among the audience, how many people who also similar me? Oh, one here. So that is my special brothers and sisters. Then indeed, I must express my appreciation as a response, the compassionate thought, compassionate motivation, compassionate action. You see, you decide, Hasa.
You set up a program now.
Oh.
And Dalai Lama Scholars Program here.
So that I very much appreciate. That is this clear sign you. Oh, I see. So that is the sort of indication you really look some of my sort of, my talks to the point you seriously take. So I very much appreciate. Thank you. Now today's theme is
That theme.
compassion
And leaders.
and
Leadership.
leadership. How to say? Perhaps. Karsa.
I don't know what can be done.
Then, I think suppose this working, I think. Okay. Wow, nice. Now sound okay. Can you hear? Oh. So actually, last few days, about now week, some little pain my throat. So that spoiled my voice. Last year, when I was in Japan, the last year's another visit. So some Japanese musician, he came to see me, and one musician expressed to me, my very voice is something like music.
Music.
I think a little bit exaggeration. But anyway, when I hearing, for example, his voice, my voice is better. So in any way, sorry. The compassion. Why I'm emphasizing that? Mainly, I feel people, particularly those people, I think not much interest about religion. Then they feel compassion, forgiveness, this is part of religious practice. So not much relevant, those people who have not much interest about religion. That's one thing. Then secondly, people sometimes get the sort of understanding or sort of impression, result of practice of compassion, something good for other, not for oneself. That also mistake. So therefore, of course, all major religious tradition, you see, speaks and they carry the message of love, compassion, forgiveness, these things. These are real sort of important part of practice. But even I think among the religious people, sometimes it seems, practice of real message of God. That's love, compassion. But that sometimes a little bit neglect. It's just a faith to God, according to theistic tradition. And even among the Buddhists, they pray to Buddha for selfish reason. Seems emphasis more on that, a little bit neglect about practice of compassion. Then, on the other hand, if compassion is truly part of religious sort of matter, not much relevant in our day-to-day life, then okay. Those people who have not much interest, religion, okay. But that's not the case. Observe. Now we are in 21st century. The material development, the economy development, highly developed, generally speaking. Of course, in certain part of the world, and within one country, rich country, still you see some poorer section of people still there, but overall, much sort of developed. And with that, healthcare, much improved. But when people getting some mental problem, too much stress, too much worry, and loneliness and depression, just the medical care for health, physical health, not sufficient. What do you call it?
A psychiatrist.
Or psychiatry.
Psychiatry.
Like that. So you see, because of the certain sort of problem, mental level, so the special sort of method or special sort of technique deal with that. And then education. Highly developed. However, problem which we are facing, global level, national level, even a family level, many of these problems essentially our own creation. And we can sort of observe, notice some individual, highly educated, very brilliant mind, but as a person, very unhappy person. Too much worry, too much frustration. I notice. And of course, everybody, entire nearly 7 billion human beings, no one want a problem. Yet, they themselves create a lot of problem. Why? I think one part, we are lacking to look at things holistic. We only focusing one thing, limited area, and also concern about your own surrounding. So the problem is interconnected for many other factors. So, in order to deal with that problem, we must have fuller knowledge about the complex reality. Without knowing the complex sort of reality, our approach becomes unrealistic approach. Any unrealistic approach fails to bring our goal. So in order to, now here, the calm mind really, what's the basis of our intelligence to look the reality more objectively. Too much emotion, too much disturbed mind. Even though you try to investigate the reality, but because of the very factor which carrying investigation itself, something disturbed. So cannot see the reality. For example, too much anger. While anger remains there, try to look the object, you can't see the reality. Now I think obviously in our daily life, with our friend, a very close friend, even do something bad because of your attachment, you feel okay. Your enemy, even do something good, but you feel bad. Because, you see, mentally, you feel that is 100% negative. So such 100% negative person, impossible to carry some good things. Like that. So, lack of objective sort of look. This is one thing. Now here. Here, how to develop calm mind? Tranquilizer? Perhaps short period. Or alcohol? Or destroy our intelligence. Right? Or drugs. I think it become worse. And then one day, I think a medical sort of surgery may develop because in the brain, which part, if there is independent sort of brain because of the sections which create this troubled thought, then I think we can remove. But that also not the case. The brain work, all this is full cooperation.
Interconnected.
So unless whole brain take up, emotion will remain. So the only sensible thing is make awareness about these different sort of emotions. And then the full of knowledge about the among different emotion, each other sort of contradictory sort of nature.
Forces. Not.
Contradictory sort of nature, that because of the counterforce. So, destructive emotion in order to reduce. Some positive emotion increase, and also intelligence increase, that sort of reduce. So here intelligence, not just a mere sort of knowledge, but more experience sort of knowledge, like that. So this is one thing. In order to carry realistic approach, you should know the reality. In order to know the reality, we must look very objectively, and not only through one dimension, but 3 dimension, 4 dimension, 6 dimension. And also need a little bit of the longer period, right? Not hurriedly decide. So, calm mind, one sort of aspect, good aspect of calm mind is that. Then second, calm mind, person who have full of fear, impossible to develop calm mind. Full of hatred, full of anger, impossible. So therefore, the calm mind very much related with self-confidence, inner strength. So the mental sort of, because of the system is such, more warm-hearted sort of mind. That sort of means you are open to other. So that, no matter what other sort of attitude, but you, from your own self, your own side, open. So then you get more inner strength, more self-confidence. That brings calm mind, because more inner strength, more self-confidence, fear reduce. Distrust or fear reduce. Then when we talk openly, frankly, honestly, truthfully, in Kasa, transparently, then trust develop. Trust cannot buy, right?
With money. No.
With money or nice word. Other person, unless foolish, then too much nice word may bring trust. But ordinary human being, nice word and nice attitude and some gift will not bring trust. Trust bring by honest, truthful, transparent. We are social animal. Among social animal, even insect, some kind of cooperation is very essential. In order to develop cooperation, genuine cooperation, friendship, closeness feeling each other is very essential. For that, trust, the basis. Trust comes from honest, truthful, transparent. So that is related with self-confidence. So 2 ways, warm-heartedness bring self-confidence, inner strength. That brings trust, friendship, these things. Warm-heartedness, because increase our self-confidence, so our mind become more calm. So with calm mind, we can use human intelligence properly. What do you think? Some sense? So I think best explanation come from some of the scientists, very objective sort of research worker, carry research work. I think they also now begin to feel compassionate heart is something very important. Our social life and also individual health. So therefore, and then of course, the country, especially those country, democracy and the rule of law, and transparent and free media, there are all these sort of factors which check certain sort of ill, because of the non-do,
Abuses.
certain sort of abuses or certain wrongdoing. Of course, closed society is something different. So open society like America and also India, yet some corruptions, some abuse, some cheating. Yeah. I was told when the global economic crisis happened or start, out of my curiosity, I asked some my friend who are sort of the big corporation and some businessmen. I asked, what is the main sort of causes of this worldwide economic crisis? And then some told me too much greed and speculation. Speculation means without knowing exact, just create some because of the speculation. That also here some connection with less moral principle, without knowing exact sort of situation, but just create some sort of rumors or something like that. If the person really honest, then answer, I don't know. Without knowing, just pretend something still going well. So some of these sort of bank or economy, sort of big economic body, till the last minute, they say, okay, that kind of pretended, like that. Then some told me, due to ignorance. So in any way, these sort of global economic crisis also related with human mind. Not only just to say failed mission, but something lacking here. Then, of course, global issue, global, warming. Many specialists say we human behavior also made some contribution. The Copenhagen summit failed. Why? Again, greed and too much stress. National importance of national interest rather than global interest. So all these is related with our mental thinking, mental level. So therefore, a lot of problems which we are facing is essentially our own creation. Yet nobody wants a problem. So, yet we, because of that, created this problem. So that is now out of lack of knowing the reality, lack of sense of responsibility, lack of moral principle. So therefore, now issue, and then look, look the causes of that. I often used to telling, I think mentioned in this hall, I think, in my previous talk. In the European continent, 1,000 years ago, a separate education institution started. At that time, the moral ethics, that part taken care by the church, religious organization, and also, family values. So at that time, the newly established, education institution, now, no need taking care about moral ethics side. Now time passes, the influence of the religious tradition will decline. And then also family values also will decline. So then, now the education institution itself alone have the both responsibility, taking care about brain development, taking care of warm-heartedness. And now here, the way to develop or promote warm-heartedness or compassion, these things, I usually telling or sharing with people 3 ways. Number one, theistic religious tradition. Believe God, or according concept of God, creator, the tremendous faith to God, and totally submit yourself to God. So that means, the extreme self-centered attitude reduce. You consider you are servant of God. What is God? Infinite love. What is God's main message? Love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline, contentment. These are God's message. So more devotion or more because of the faith. These practice then follow. That's number one. Approach. Now number two, non-theistic religious approach. That is like Buddhism and Jainism, no concept of God, no concept of creator, but rather self-creation. How? According according to law of causality. You commit this action, then result come later. That's law of causality. Every effect, every result come from, every result which we experiencing, that must come from our own action. A law of causality about this flower, not necessarily related with action. Maybe some very remote way, some connection. Otherwise, you see, there's no sort of direct connection. But our feeling, experience, pains and pleasure and neutral, these very much link with our action. Action which brings unhappiness or harms on other, the similar sort of nature result, you yourself uncomfortable or negative. Any action which brings joyfulness or happiness, comfort to other, including animal or insect, you get positive result. That's the law of causality. So through that way, approaching, if you serve other people, if you help other people, you get benefit. If you harm other people, other sentient being, you will face negative consequences. So that's one way approach, promoting warm-heartedness, nice to other. Now, since ancient time, according to Indian sort of history or Indian sort of religious sort of traditions, more than around 2,000 to 3,000 years in India, there one section, the philosophy, denying existence of these laws of causality or God, everything deny. Simply, the previous life, no next life, no previous life. There exist with all ancient sort of Indian traditions which believe next life or law of causality, or some Indian sort of believe creator, like Brahma, like that. So since different religious tradition or since faith developed among humanity, non-believer always there. Now today, I want to share. I think 3, 4, 5,000, even I think 5,000. We human beings invented some mysterious force and then pray, whatever different name, with that kind of sort of faith. So we, last several thousand, we simply put all our hope on that. Pray, pray, pray. Most cases, very difficult to materialize what we want, even though day and night pray. Then last, I think around 200 to 300 years, science developed. With that, technology developed. Technology revolution. Industry revolution comes. Many of the things which we want, we always pray, but they're now produced by machine. Yeah. So naturally, I think people are relying more and more and faith more towards technology and science. And I think till, because the mid 20th century. Even I think the science and spirituality, a little bit, separate, remain separately. So from religious sort of group, look science and a little bit,
Suspicious.
suspicious. Deliberately put a little bit distance. Oh, actually, about 40 years ago, I began to sort of feel seriously dialogue with modern scientists. So I expressed, this is some of my friend, actually American, an American lady who married with Tibetan, with one Tibetan. So one day I expressed that. Then she responded, oh, be careful. Science is killer of religion. Be careful. So that kind of impression. Then eventually, when I asked the monastic institution in India, we Buddhists, must study science. And initially, our respected old scholars and abbots, a little bit reservation. So from the scientists also, I think this place, California,
California,
I think 89, October, one small group of scientists, and we, last 30 years, you see, actually our meeting, you see,
take place
nowadays, actually, annually. So 89, one of the meeting here,
Newport Beach. Newport Beach, California.
Newport Beach. So some scientists at the beginning of our meeting, our gathering, those scientists, some scientists, you see, show such attitude. They are scientists. Their counterpart, me, Buddhist monk. So what to discuss? Entirely different field. That kind of attitude. Then we start talks. Then, of course, they completely change this attitude. But basically, you see, the religious side also a little bit sort of cautious towards science. And scientists look religion a little bit orthodox, right? Outdated sort of thinking like that. It is true, through scientific way, very difficult to prove existence of God. And I always say, neither scientifically cannot disprove God. These are two mysterious levels. So, so eventually, the later part of 20th century, firstly, I think medical science began to feel for preventive measure for illness, preserve good health, emotion, or such as too much stress, too much fear, too much sort of anger, hatred, anxiety, very bad for our health. Even during recovery from illness, the calm mind, happy mind is a very important factor. So they began to look about mind, about emotion.
The role of mind.
Rule of mind. Then another field, the neuron science, or science of brain. Their knowledge their investigation now really reach deep. Then their interest about relation, neurons or brain cells and their emotions or different minds. So as a result of experiment, through training of mind, actually some brain cell can change.
Plasticity.
Okay.
Due to the discovery of brain plasticity, we know a lot more how conscious, deliberate thinking can affect the brain.
So, mind, in any way, there is some force which can affect brain. These, I think, quite new discovery. Like that. So then another factor. Among the people who are very rich, very sort of high prestige, yet unhappy person. Actually, I met some really, I think, rank chancellor. Not this one. One chancellor of one big university. One occasion, you see, I went to talk there, so quite long drive. So the chancellor with me, so he expressed his sort of deep sort of anxiety or feeling, loneliness feeling. And we talk. I share my own problems like that. Then I was told by his sort of staff member, since our meeting, see, Chancellor, much change, all these problems, a little bit lonely and always shy to meet people, that kind of situation completely changed. So that's one example. High salary and high prestige and very nice person, but something wrong, too much worry here. So, therefore, among the society or community where materially quite affluent, advanced, now begin to feel matter alone, money alone, not full answer for happy life. So there are more and more people among that group now seeking some sort of answer. So therefore, the later part of 20th century seems to see more and more people, including scientists, now showing interest about our spiritual values. Meantime, now for example, you see among the people who showing interest about Buddhism, some, you see, they frankly told me they have keen interest about Buddhism, but they still difficult to accept the next life. So people, you see, showing interest, but difficult to accept the whole sort of system. So, and then I think many, Judeo-Christian followers, you may go church once a week, where in the cathedral, in the church, looks very sincere, very sort of serious, devoted. But outside church, nothing. We Buddhists also, you see, in Tibetan also, you see, in front of me, oh, they say, oh, kyapsuche, kyapsuche. But outside, not much serious. So these people, essentially, not very serious about one's own sort of teaching, faith. So now we need a third way to promote the inner value. That's no other way except secular way. Secularism here does not mean, I must make clear, when I use the word secularism, does not mean disrespect of religion, but rather respect religion, not only one religion, but all religions. Now this is, and also respect non-believer. This is not, no, this is not something new or new idea come from my mind. No. In India, 1,000 years, that tradition is there. India, more than 3,000 years, multi-religion already there. These different religions, philosophical viewpoint, contradictory, just opposite. In India, theistic religion, non-theistic religion, within non-theistic religion, they believe soul or not believe soul, like that, big differences. So therefore, 1,000 years, Indian continent is something like multi-religious continent. And India, beside a homegrown religion, that is different sort of Hinduism and Buddhism, Jainism, and later Sikhism, beside these homegrown religion, I think firstly, Zoroastrian from Iran, ancient Iran, Parsi group come, settle. I think then Christianity come, Islam come, Judaism come. So all major religious traditions live together in India. So all equal, so no discrimination. So according to that reality, when India sort of fathers, nation fathers, founder like Mahatma Gandhi, you see these people, according to that reality, India's constitution based on secularism. So equal, all religion, and also, as I mentioned earlier, non-believer. The former Indian Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Advani, one time told me, one of the factors India, very successful practice of democracy, is 1,000 years. In India, there is tradition, the different view, argue each other, debate each other, but respect each other. So he mentioned the one non-believer school of thought. You see, a lot of criticism from rest of the different spiritual tradition, yet respect these person who holding that view. So that's the ancient times sort of non-believer, and respect them. So today, a modern new non-believer also must respect. Clear. So therefore, there are a nation. There are a nation who kept these sort of the principle 1,000 years. So usually I describe myself as a messenger of ancient Indian thought. Two things. One, non-violence. Second, religious harmony. So I'm speaking here. See, since one nation, ancient nation, now number second most populated nation, 1,000 years remain that way, so why not? We also learn from that experience. So secularism does not mean disrespect of religion, but rather respect all religion and no preference to this religion or that religion. So the third way, they're promoting moral principle, moral ethics, without involve any religious belief.
Concept, no? Religious beliefs and concepts.
Religious concept. Simply on the basis of one's own experience and using common sense, more long-sighted, wider perspective, you can see the value of compassion. And then third sort of point, I emphasize the scientific finding. I think I mentioned before also the one occasion in, I think near New York, one medical sort of meeting, one medical scientist report in his sort of finding, his presentation. Those people who often express the word I, me, like that, such people have greater risk of heart attack. Why? God's punishment? I don't think. So you see, the connection is those people who often express, you see, these words. Is the word is generally, of course, very clever people, something different. Otherwise, you see, the words is expression of thought. So therefore, the person who often use I means he or she is a little bit extreme self-centered attitude. So then logically, through our own experience, we can see that they think just oneself. Then, this is, I usually describe our inner door closed. As a result, difficult to communicate with other people. So that brings sense of loneliness. One's more compassionate mind, think more about other, open that inner door. Through that way, very easy to communicate. Of course, not a political statement. Don't consider political statement, but I think one example, the recent sort of the President Hu Jintao, the greatest populated sort of nation's president, great sort of country's president, when he visited Washington, meet with the media people of free country, he a little bit difficult to sort of face. Looks a little bit nervous. That's because, you see, a little bit sort of also usually, you see, they practice all their system, almost very much sort of involved this so-called state secret. Therefore, and censorship. So then deal with people who really put questions realistically, then difficult to counter. Clear. So therefore, and then other hand, Wanjabo, Prime Minister, the same country, same Communist Party member, but looks more open. He often now last several months, he often expressed China need political reform, political change, political liberalization. So it's an individual sort of thinking, more close, then difficult to communicate with other. Individual person, more open, more easier to communicate with other. Clear, isn't it? And of course, myself, I think, not worthy to make example rare. But whenever I meet people, about 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000, me feeling no differences. We are same human being. No differences mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. According to my own experience, you also have greed, jealousy, doubt, suspicion, anger, hatred, sense of competition. These, me too. So then deliberately, you see, some of the emotion try to increase, some of the emotion try to reduce. So that's the differences. Otherwise, same. So whenever I talk with people, no feeling of barrier. I feel just I am talking my long-time friend, like that. So in any way, so too much self-centered sort of attitude is very bad for our health. These are the scientific sort of finding, and we actually sort of don't notice that. So therefore, using these sort of the factors, facts, we can educate people. Warm-heartedness is irrespective whether believer or non-believer, in order to carry happy human being, happy individual, happy family, happy community. And then further goes global level. Education is something universal. Religion is not universal. So in education system, eventually, you see, add some sort of the information in the curriculum, the educating warm-heartedness. That can be universal. Through that way, I think, end of this century, 21st century, I think world may become more peaceful, more friendly, more compassionate. It's very possible. So that's about compassion. Then leadership. Leadership not come from sky. It's a Tibetan history. Some very, very ancient sort of king from sky. So I think in order to develop more obedience to the ruler, that kind of concept, I think, started. And I think China as well. And some of the Indian king, some of the Nepalese king also used to consider manifestation of Ishvara, Onju. God, like that. So these are outdated concepts. So in any way, the leadership come from people, come from the society. So society where not much care about justice. Whatever you gain best, or because of that, easily, or because of that, no hesitation to use these different methods, including corruption, bully, cheating, lie, hypocrisy, all these, then very easily commit. So society where too much emphasis about money, and in order to get money, whatever method you utilize, then the leader come from that kind of society also. It's difficult. We cannot expect sort of something very compassionate leader, difficult. Of course, there are among the leaders, I think last century and this century also, some are very honest, some are not much, not like that. So now, leadership, as I mentioned earlier, I think if we make some effort now, beginning of the 21st century, I think later part of the 20th century, I think we can produce very sensible, compassionate leader. Main thing is warm-heartedness. Warm-heartedness there, sense of responsibility, positive sense of responsibility come. And plus vision. Vision also, one's mind calm, different visions easily come in our mind. So therefore, long-sightedness, vision, full of vision, and practical, realistic, warm-heartedness, that's, I think, real quality. As far as I know, as far as I feel, I think real quality, important quality, important aspect of quality of leadership. So that's my talk. Thank you very much. Now some questions. Okay. Some questions.
Your Holiness, this question is from Felicia Kirsch. This question is from Felicia Kirsch. She's from Psychology and Social Behavior Department. If there was one change you could make to make the world a better place, what would it be?
I think that's unrealistic. I think events depend on many other factors. So I think various sort of fields we need some sort of change. I think ultimate one goal, better world, not just materially prosperity, but truly peaceful, compassionate. That's our goal. Then media people also have the responsibility, and politicians also have the responsibility, educationists also have the responsibility, and then government also have the responsibility, and the business people also certainly have the responsibility, and ultimately family have the real sort of responsibility. The raising your children. Sort of my own experience, I feel I am one child of farmer. My mother, illiterate, but very, very kind heart. I raised with such mother. Then, when I came to Lhasa, of course, official function, I always remain a little bit sort of, because of the reserves always.
Reserved now.
I remember, you see, one experience. Very soon I came from my village to Lhasa, Potala. One sort of the sacred sort of dance, part of ceremony. From on throne, I just shout to my brother, "Oh, how nice is this!" Then I realized, oh, we are in the ceremony. So then I keep quiet. But besides that, in my daily life, I always mixing with the sort of the people, particularly those sweepers, very ordinary people, illiterate, uneducated, illiterate, but very honest. So I always play with them. So I grown that way. Firstly, very kind mother. Secondly, they surround full of trust, openness. So these sweepers, the real sort of best source of information. they don't care about religion, about officials. They carry all gossips from the outside. Oh, such person, such Lama or teacher is good. Even regent or bad, and did this like that. So these are the source of my information. So they really open to me, and myself also full trust. And some important sort of things they come after 16-year-old, I took the responsibility of the temporal sort of power. Some important decision, of course, beside official besides sort of discussion with officials. Sometimes I discuss with these sweepers. What do you think? Oh, they express their own sort of views, frankly. So I think, the way my life grown up, that kind of sort of, warm atmosphere, I think that really makes differences, I think. So therefore, ultimately, family, please pay more attention, your young children, and provide maximum love, compassion, affection to your children. That's very important.
This question is from Alex Perry, computer science. Who has been the most inspirational person in your life?
That's also difficult to say. Now, for example, beside my parent, of course, my father, very short temper. I also got a few occasions beating. So I don't like my father. And especially one, I think, cousin, uncle, one monk. His face also did it.
Pockmarked.
So I think my age, I think then perhaps 2-year-old, I cannot stand, but I can move. So one morning, still remember, one morning, I thought,
Crawled.
I approached to that uncle, sorry.
Uncle.
Uncle. So uncle carrying sort of daily prayer with some text. So my hand like that. So his text, because of the truth.
Yeah, got all kind of, spread out.
Then he lost his temper. Then on that spot, he did like that. So then at least I think a few years, a little bit hatred remained here. Whenever he came, whenever his face appears, I feel a little. So then, of course, teacher. I receive teachings from now 17 different teachers, different Tibetan Buddhist traditions, all very, very kind, very kind. So then, as a student of Nalanda tradition, usually I describe some of the professors of Nalanda University, monastic university, are very, very sort of influence in my mind. So recently, I think 1 year ago, I met one group of Chinese media, not mainland China, but from outside, some Chinese community, overseas Chinese. So one Chinese media used to ask me, why you mentioned you are son of India? You yourself consider as a son of India. Then I explained, as I usually do, if you have the opportunity to open my skull, and every sort of particle of my brain filled by Nalanda thought, And then this physical, over 50 years, this physical survived by Indian dals and rice and chapati. So therefore, I describe myself as a son of India. Then it seems he understood. Otherwise, you see, some people, they get the impression I describe as son of India. It's a little bit the political sort of motivated sort of expression. So when I explain that way, so in any way, these Nalanda master like Shantadeva sort of teach infinite altruism. And he precisely mentioned your enemy is real teacher of you. Wonderful. Once we develop genuine appreciation towards your troublemaker, then your practice of compassion, the road of practice of compassion, then very smooth. So the Shantadeva teaching mentioned like that. Very, very helpful. So then modern time, I don't know. Of course, my sort of the quantum physics sort of teacher, two teachers, late David Bohm, and also the late von Weizsäcker, German. Very nice person, very nice. My teacher about quantum physics, wonderful teacher, but student, hopeless student. The reason why I sort of listen their explanation, it seems I understand something, but then that lesson finished, nothing left here. So therefore I describe hopeless student. So these are really very, very sort of kind to me. And then among different sort of leaders, different politicians, some of them very, very sort of close in my mind, like that.
This is from Bernadette Garcia Silva, first-year Master of Public Health student. What do you think is the best way to encourage interreligious friendship and communication?
4 methods I usually practice. Number 1 method, meeting with scholars from different traditions. And what similarities, what differences. Then naturally there are differences. Then when differences come, what is the purpose of these different philosophy? Then we will find same goal, to better human being, sensible human being. For that is goal. So therefore, all different sort of philosophical viewpoint is same purpose. Okay. Then practical side, all major religious traditions same. Then meeting with practitioner of different tradition. To me, immense benefit. For example, after I met late Thomas Merton, because of Trappist monk. Really, I developed deeper awareness about the value of Christianity. And then also is some quite a number of occasions as a result of meeting with practitioner and also Islam practitioner, Hindu practitioner. Immense benefit. And also Jewish, some Orthodox Jews. Few occasions we sat together and discussed, exchange our deeper spiritual experiences. Immense benefit in order to understand the value of other tradition. Number 2. Number 3, like Assisi meeting. In the public eye, such meeting is very, very helpful. A different religious tradition, not only together, but carry same message of peace or message of spirituality, these things. Very helpful. Then fourth, group pilgrimage to different holy places. With this sort of practice, I had, I think, at least first visit, not that way, but second or third visit, Jerusalem, with this sort of concept. Genuinely pilgrimage, mosque or ancient church, and then Wailing Wall. Very powerful. Then, whenever I had sort of opportunity at the sort of at the place where different sort of religious sites there, since 75 I started this practice. One day, then I was in Varanasi. One day I start first pilgrimage, one church, then small mosque, then Hindu temple, then Buddhist temple. And Varanasi, no synagogue, then Sikh temple, whole day, like that. Since then, whenever I have the opportunity, I pay my respect to all these different traditions. So, it's good. And one occasion, after my visit to one John Main seminar in England. There's a little bit I'm quite serious. I am strictly speaking non-believer, Buddhist, no concept of God. But a non-believer, according to theistic religious viewpoint, one non-believer explaining about existence of God. And read some passage of gospel. I think three days, I think. So I try my best, because the text which we study in Tibet is all different ancient Indian religious school of thought there. So those points which mentioned in ancient Indian tradition, which based on creator. So I use some of these reasons, some of their logical argument. So I, out of my respect Christianity, so I really try my best, to prove there is existence of God. Is it a little hypocrisy? What do you think? So this is no problem. You see, according Christianity, such thing. According Buddhism, such things. No problem. Okay. So after the discourse, some my friend or some audience, express their belief to God much increase after my lecture. So I serve something. So later, I think after 1 year, from their group came to India, near Bodh Gaya, similar seminar, take place. So each morning, half an hour, we spent under Bodhi tree, silent meditation. Each morning, Christian group. Then some Muslim also joined. Some Hindus also join. Everybody gets some kind of vibration. Very nice. And then my visit the Lahore in France, southern France. The Mary statue, or Jesus, I think, Jesus statue, Jesus Christ statue. In front of that statue, I stand. Oh, I reflect. Millions of people pilgrim that area. And even some sick people cure after that sort of pilgrimage. So this great service to humanity, great sort of inspiration to millions of people. So that's fourth sort of practice in order to develop closer understanding. And that automatically develop mutual respect, mutual admiration. Like that, huh? One last question.
Final question. This is from Mo Holland, Sociology, 4th year. Your Holiness, is there any secret to being happy? What is the secret of happiness?
If there is some secret sort of factor for happiness, I must keep secretly. Actually, nothing. As I mentioned, these points I myself practice, analyze, or analytical meditation in every my sort of daily practice. So that's the ultimate source of my inner sort of satisfaction or happiness. And that also immense benefit for good health. Now this time, see, I think 2 days postponed, I stuck in Japan. Actually, that illness, my own creation. Why? With this little sort of throat problem, beside allopathic medicine, I also take some Tibetan medicine. With the greed, the speed sort of recover about this sort of throat. I increase the dosage of Tibetan medicine. That really brought blood pressure very low. And then,
Dizzy.
Dizzy. And a few occasions I fell down. That is my own creation, out of greed and out of ignorance, like that. Thank you. Thank you. Rất đau rồi. Yeah, do it. First, I think. Thank you. That's it. What is it? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All your help. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for coming today
Thank you.
to His Holiness. Your Holiness, thank you for coming. We know you've traveled very far.
Yes.
Give Brenner a heads up.
Thank you. No, they're okay. Yeah.
But before you go,
Oh,
I'd like here.
그래, 다 구구래.
From the Center for Living Peace. At the Center for Living Peace, we believe that good happens. And Your Holiness, you are proof of that today.
그래서
I'd like to invite all of you
Oh.
to make good happen right here today in honor of His Holiness's visit. His talk today about how positive thoughts make a difference in the world is what I'd like you all to do. So please close your eyes, put a smile on your face, and feel the warmth in your heart. And in gratitude, send your gift to His Holiness. Thank you. Thank you for making good happen here today in Orange County and beyond.
One thing. Sometimes in the West, so you so much sort of, because of the get used to the automatic machines. Just because of the press button, some immediately say something. The mental development, not like that. Just as a short moment, within a few hours, within a weeks, will not change our emotion. Practice need, because of practice need, years practice. So at the beginning, too much sort of expectation, it's a sign of failure. So you must, if you have, firstly, you must think, what is the value of these inner sort of quality? If you really convince, then you should know the variety of method. Then implement. Years. My own case, my genuine interest about spiritual practice start only around 13, 14 years. Before that, I have no interest about these sort of spiritual values. My only interest is playing, and also gossip. So now, 76-year-old, still I'm practicing. Still I'm sort of meditate. So year by year, my mental state improving. So realize that. Then, see, when you start some effort, so not get sort of satisfactory result within a short period will not discourage. If you too much expectation, then within a short period, some obstacles come or not satisfactory sort of result come, change come, and you boring or you lose because of the interest. So that's I want to share.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.